In continuation of the questions from the chapter The Enemy by Paul S. Buck, class 12, literature, we are doing some more questions from the same chapter The Enemy, questions which have been asked in board exam. First question: what was Sadau's father's dream for him? How did Sadau realize it? Sadau's father's dream was to, provide him a perfect education. He had dreamt of providing the best education to Sadao, so he sent him to America for studying surgery and medicine. Sadao got his education of surgery and medicine abroad, in America, and he became a famous surgeon as well as a scientist. Next question: why was Dr. Sadao not sent to the battlefield? Dr. Sadao was not sent to the battlefield along with the troops because he was given the responsibility of looking after the surgeon who was old and sick. Perhaps the surgeon was under the care of Dr. Sadao and he needed operation any time. So the surgeon had, and the general had, asked the government not to allow him to go to join the battle, and therefore he was to stay with the general because the general was an old man and he was suffering from severe disease. He needed an operation anytime. So because and secondly, he was discovering a wonderful drug which could leave an owned clean and safe. So because of the two reasons, Dr. Sudha was not sent to the battlefield along with the troop. The first reason was that he was having the responsibility of looking after the old general who was treated by him, and he could not trust any other Japanese other than Dr. Sudha. Secondly, Dr. Sudha was about to make an important discovery that would leave Ons entirely clean. Question 3: how did the writer indicate that Dr. Sudha's father was a very traditional and conventional man? The writer has made it clear that Sudha's father was a traditional and conventional man. Sudha didn't marry Hana, the girl whom he met in America, unless she became a Japanese. So that is, the writer says that he would never approve of their marriage unless she would become a Japanese, and that is the reason why Saddam married Hana only when she came back to Japan and was married with the surgeon in a Japanese traditional way. So this clearly suggests that uh, Sadau's father was a traditional and conventional man who didn't allow Hana to get married to his son and get the approval, otherwise, unless she became a Japanese citizen. So he would not allow any foreign object to be in his room. What role did the American professor play in bringing Hana and Sadao together? The American professor and his wife had been kind people, anxious to help foreign students to settle in, and Sadao also visited his house one night. There he met Hana, a new student, by chance, which brought the two together. And this is the last question: why had Hana, to wash the wounded man herself? The servant, the maid servant Yomi, refused to wash the enemy soldier. Therefore, Hana herself had to wash him and make him ready for the surgery. She asked her maid Yomi to wash the American soldier, wounded soldier, but Yomi refused, and she said that she would never wash and never clean a soldier who was their enemy. Therefore, Hana had to, do the same thing. She had to wash the American soldier herself. What made what forced Dr. Sadao to be impatient and irritable with his patient? The wounded man urgently needed an operation on the wound, otherwise he would die. Hana was with Sadao when he started operating on the prisoner. Hannah, who had never seen an operation in her life, was vomiting, and therefore Sada was a bit irritated and impatient due to the condition of his wife, Hannah. But he operated upon the enemy soldier and took the bullet out of his body. He could not leave the patient, dying. Therefore, he became a bit impatient and irritable. That's all about the discussion of the question answers. Thank you. Have a nice day.